Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be looking at a 70% win rate bounty hunter. And I'm going to be talking about what 7k MMR players could do if they want to increase their MMR. So without further ado, let's take a look at this mid bounty hunter that's sometimes played offlane, but we're going to look at a mid example and let's get into it. Alright, before we get into the main part of the video, I do want to let you guys know that I'm not only posting videos here on YouTube, I also frequently post videos on the website. If you don't know what I'm talking about, almost every single day I'm posting a new video to the gameleap website. We're going to teach you guys in depth about how to get to the next level. So if you want to become absolutely broken, click the link down below and sign up. Okay, so the matchup we're going to be looking at here today is Bounty Hunter versus Earth Spirit. I'm not going to spend too much time in the lane because honestly, Bounty Hunter is a very straightforward laner. The upside of Bounty Hunter in the laning stage is the fact that he has pretty good base damage, right? And his 9 armor, as well as 325 movement speed, is some of the best stats in all of Dota. And so, essentially, your hero trades right clicks naturally very, very well. All you have to do is make sure that your Janata is set to auto-cast so that you can turn it on and off as much as you need, because you do not want to use it to last hit most of the time. You can to secure certain range creeps or maybe a specific flag bearer, right? But for the most part, you want to use it if you are against a melee hero. If you're against a ranged hero in lane, what I've seen him do is use it more so to secure last hits. From there, his build revolves around Shuriken Toss a lot of the time over Janata. He does max Janata this game, and I think that's because he's against a melee hero, but I saw him go against the Necrophos and he maxed the Q. The Q has been buffed multiple times as of late, right? You could see in the 7.34C patch, the damage was increased, and it was increased previous to that as well. It now does a pretty staggering 250 damage, and you have to keep in mind, when someone is tracked, the Shuriken does an extra 40% damage at level 1. So yeah, in this laning stage, he opts to throw a lot of Shurikens at the Earth Spirit, which I don't think is terrible, and it does force the Earth Spirit away here. Honestly, I don't know how Earth Spirit gets kicked out by this. I feel like it's not that good. But it does end up going pretty well. I will admit, he definitely wins the early trades and certainly wins the early CS, as you can see. Now from there, in most games, I definitely recommend you go bottle. However, he doesn't this game. He does some games. It just depends on your matchups, of course, depending on how hard it is. I think this matchup's reasonably easy, as we can see. So yeah, he opts to go a little bit greedy, rushing the boots to get more Janata hits off. Now, every single game, the next item he goes is Treads. And I kind of like Treads because they give bonus movement speed, they give attack speed, which your hero kind of desperately needs if it wants to clear waves. None of its abilities do it, so you kind of need damage in order to do so. From there, one thing I will say, and I honestly believe this is one of my biggest critiques of the 7k bracket, it's one of my biggest critiques of every bracket, but especially the 7k bracket. You have to learn, I don't know, like every time, I've watched 3 of his games now, he very consistently just overextends and pushes his limits to crazy extents. And it kind of feels like he's either not watching the map or just doesn't care. I don't know exactly what it is, but when you are making moves, first of all, when you make a move, guys, you have to look at the map and say, can they respond, right? In this case, the reason why I don't hate that he's diving was because there was a huge fight going on top previous. If that's why he's diving here, great. If there's any other reason, then he's just insane. And the reason why I feel like there's a chance he doesn't even, this is just kind of like him playing the game, is because of the fact that he'll do this randomly. And once again, I'm not trying to like major insult this guy. I'm just trying to make a point as he almost gets the solo kill using the track. I mean, this is obviously super net positive, right? Which is why this guy's 7k. He understands, okay, I'm dominating the lane. He understands his hero spike, right? He's sitting in the lane, in a lane where you can dominate, which I like. I think some people will over-roam. Like, if you can own your lane, you should generally stay in that lane because you're going to have huge impact. Of course, with Bounty Hunter, that's not always true because you can, get track hold. But we'll see his first rotation soon, and let's get into that. So his first rotation comes off an Invis rune, which is pretty comical because it's Bounty Hunter, but he doesn't have Invis skilled, and he's going to come to the bot lane. Naturally, this is something you want to do, and I don't mind this gank, mainly because of the fact that Omni Knight was pretty far up in the lane. Not necessarily in the most defensive position, but reasonably far up, and he gets a clean kill. From there, personally, I would like to see him rush the Cornucopia. He rushes Blitz Knuckles, which is the attack speed component of Orchid. Honestly, this Orchid build is a little sus, but he goes in the majority of games. Obviously gives you the ability to solo kill people. However, it kind of makes you really bad at team fighting. I'm on the fence about the build. I don't mind it, especially if you think your opponents are somewhat incompetent. No offense, but okay. He goes for the attack speed item, which I personally don't understand. The reason why I'm not a huge fan of it is because of the fact that it doesn't really help you play the style that I expect. The main thing in that it does that is good is it allows you to kill waves a bit faster. But you already have attack speed and treads. I just don't understand why you wouldn't go Cornucopia for a bit of extra gold. So I think the item build is a little bit wrong in this regard. But okay, moving on ahead, this is kind of what I'm talking about with these dives. I don't mind him going for a Janata hit here. I think it's good to even try to bait TPs. I think hitting the creep wave here is fine. I think going on this guy and looking for a Janata hit is fine. He gets kicked under, which is a little suspect. And immediately, if I get kicked under tower by an Earth Spirit, I'm going to be a little bit afraid. And you could say, oh, the Earth Spirit's just messing up. He's just trying to outplay Bounty Hunter, but he's too low to make this play. And to be fair, what we're about to see is an incredible TP from the Witch Doctor, and you could argue somewhat of a grief from the Earthshaker. So, I don't know. I think what I'll say is when you are making dive plays, you have to understand who is going to TP. 9 times out of 10, who's going to TP, guys? It's going to be the supports. So could he have expected getting cast there, right? Or could Earthshaker? I'm not just solely blaming him getting cast on him. Of course not. Right? Could one of them have read that? Of course. The Shaker could have just not ran in, and then that play would have just been good. You know? But the same thing, if he, right, when he gets kicked in here, and he knows that, okay, either Witch Doctor or Bane are going to TP, let me be a little bit afraid of Cask, right? Because that's the spell that's going to threaten me the most here. Then he would maybe kite to the left, because he ran into the roll. Right, he certainly did not have to tank this roll. Maybe he thought it was a good idea in case the guy was trying to disengage. I have a feeling that's what it was. But it was obviously very, very risky, and they end up getting punished. Yes, they get the Earth Spirit, but for 3 heroes against 2 heroes when you're winning the game is definitely not good. On a more positive note, I like this TP bottom. I think, once again, Omni Knight is a hero you can pressure. It doesn't have the best disengage. Ends up running into Bane, and I think it was a good decision to swap onto the Bane and go for the kill. His execution is good. Lead with Janata, immediately throw the Shuriken with no hesitation. Another Janata, immediately throw the Shuriken. He's very good at his spell casting. It might seem like not a big deal, but it certainly is. As the Shuriken comes up, maybe a little slow on that one, but I actually don't mind it because he got an auto attack off and then threw it. And on top of that, he kites the Cask here, which is extremely high skill and kind of what I was talking about earlier. So a bit of an adaptation, which in my opinion is a sign of someone that is 7k MMR, right? Maybe they make a mistake, but whatever, they adapt. Optimally, you never make the mistake. You've made the mistake in the past and you learn from previous matches, but whatever. At least there, his reaction was incredible. And from there, he actually rotates his way all the way back to mid, which I thought was really nice, right? The Earth Spirit probably thought that he was bottom lane. He immediately shifts with no hesitation, runs back to mid, finds the Earth Spirit, and gets the kill. So this is great. And on top of that, he clears the creep wave, which doesn't seem like a big deal, but I actually really like that. The tower's low, and a lot of mid bounty hunters or like mid roaming heroes will just like stop clearing waves at some point in the game, and it will make you poor. It also makes it very hard to take towers when you don't clear waves. In a bracket where your opponent isn't clearing the wave, you will take their tower. So this is just, I mean, it's just good in multiple different ways. But okay, his next move, he moves towards the top side of the map. They see a fight breaking down. I'm always not a huge fan of dives like this, but in this case, you know, they have a Night Stalker. However, the Night Stalker ulti is ending. So once again, in terms of gaining MMR, if you're 7k and you're trying to get to the next level, you have to be hyper aware as much as you can. So what I would be thinking here is, okay, this guy is not that strong. No Echo, even if he had Echo, kind of a sus hero at this point in the game. Pugna's strong. This guy ulti, I would click on him. Oh, my Night Stalker has 300 health and his ulti is running out. So you need to be careful. I'm not saying that this play won't work. Right? I'm not going to tell you the ending. I'm not going to play it out for you immediately, but you have to be at least careful. Now they end up running in, right? Turns into nothing, whatever. It is what it is. But these are plays you have to be careful about. Wasn't a terrible rotation. And to be a bit more harsh, this upcoming play is pretty unacceptable. I say that because it's just one of those low respect plays where, I don't know, it's like, you'll see, he knows they're all here. He just saw the Muerta, the dead shot, he sees her on the map, he sees Witch Doctor, he sees her Spirit, and he sees his Bane. Like, you can't, there's no way you think this is safe. Like, there's no way. Like, of course this is not safe. He gets the kill, and once again, it's a track kill, so like, did Bane not have Nightmare? Okay, thank God Bane didn't have Nightmare, because that could have been really bad. But he ends up going down, and I don't know. Of course that's not worth it. He feeds like 800 gold and a ton of XP. So, and he's top net worth because he's bounty, so you feed like a bajillion gold when you die on this hero. Kind of one of the downsides of bounty hunter, but yeah, just not disrespectful, because I don't think that's what it was. I think he just thought he could kill Bane and get out. But yeah, just, well, once again, not exactly understanding the strengths of Earth Spirit. And I know people are going to say, oh, speed, of course I know what Earth Spirit does, you know, blah, 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 blah. It's just not subconsciously understanding it. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like not fully like getting it in that exact moment about what you can and can't do. I know you guys know Earth Spirit rolls, all right? But it's about not making the play because he rolls. And kind of same thing here. I mean, I talked about how I like the Omni ganks, but it was largely due to the location. He's on Orchid, right? It makes sense. You get Orchid, you look for a kill in a side lane. Now, let's actually look at when he was in base. Maybe there's a better option. The only reason why I think this Omni kill is risky is where he is. He's very close to his tower. So, if we go back 10 seconds, did we maybe see Muerta going to the top lane? But yeah, so we saw Muerta going top. So if he was truly watching the map, maybe he tries to kill this Muerta, right? Because I think she's very squishy, extremely squishy. She's in a location with no tower, right? So it's much easier to kill her without there being a response. So I would have personally probably tried to TP top because I feel like this bottom TP, it's risky, right? It's directly under the tower. This guy is somewhat tanky, right? He has a semi-high HP pool, 400 health higher than Muerta. And they make the move. Unfortunately, Bane was ready, because maybe they get the job done if Bane wasn't ready. So partially good play by Bane. But because it's under a tower, he dies, right? And this is kind of what I'm talking about. You have to be careful about making plays under towers. It's a very simple concept. Dude, every time I talk about one of these clips, I'm like, oh, he's feeding, and then he gets a kill. Like, this guy's just a Chad. There's nothing to say. His execution's good. His awareness of getting and finishing off kills and seeing who's low is good. Like, this guy, I'm not surprised he's 7K. He's certainly a 7K player. He's explosive. He sees kills quickly. He moves the map well, right? I think his items are reasonable. I think a lot of these things add up for him, but like he's a bit too Chad. He's a bit too aggressive, and I've seen this time and time and again in his gameplay. He doesn't read the map as well as he needs to. He doesn't understand those things. So like even in this play, right? I mean, I hate to harp on the same thing over and over again, but if we look at the map, right? Because this is the key thing, right? Look at the map. If I'm him, I'm swinging left and looking to go on this Muerta, or like I'm asking this guy to smoke me here so that I can get this Muerta. We have God wards. Get a kill on these wards. Like we've played bottom and on some mid wave where we don't have vision for the last minute and a half, 2 minutes. Why? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, why are we playing arguably the worst places of the map for our vision, right? For what we have, because he's clearing this wave. He sees the Earth Spirit on the ward, but he's not watching the map. He's just not watching the map. Like, they could have easily smoked and killed this guy. Easily. They have Bling Shaker. Why are we not using our Bling? We have Nighttime this shitter and Bling Shaker. Use a smoke. You know what I mean? Like, I know you're bounty hunter guys, but I mean, even if he's invis, that's not necessarily safe in the mid game in high MMR matches. People are gonna have sentries down for you. You know, you need to smoke. And I don't know if these guys are tilted at each other or something, but there's like a complete lack of synergy. Like every time I'm watching, it's just Earthshaker dies and now Pugna's dead. Like they can't get on the same page. And this is very important, guys. When the game, like, okay, in these high MMR games, people don't just like YOLO dive your towers as much, right? As much. Obviously they do. We've kind of seen clips of that happening. I mean, he didn't like dive, to be fair, right? Which is, once again, a reason why his high MMR, like, in 2 to 3K MMR to 4K, people literally just dive towers randomly, which is generally terrible. But point being is that we haven't seen a smoke, as Shaker gets a nice initiation here. That actually could be the difference, and it is. Now, honestly, at this point, I feel like I'm over-hating on Hobo Harry, and I really don't mean to make the theme of this video make it seem like that. I actually think his gameplay is extremely good and his win rate is incredibly good on this hero. So there's a lot to praise. But in this clip, the big problem is like what he sees, right? And when you don't see anything, guys, the most dangerous wave is mid wave, right? So when the game is hard and you don't see anything, do not just clear mid wave casually. That is how you feed, all right? It's a lesson that you all can learn right now. If the game is hard and you don't see anything, and what he does here is he just, well, neither. He doesn't see anyone bottom, doesn't see anyone top, and they have pretty good wards. This is a sneaky ward. This is a sneaky ward. This ward's fine. This guy's scouting this area somewhat, right? He just needs some patience, because honestly, they'll show in a little bit if he doesn't, right? But they just were sitting on the midway, literally just sitting there, and he can read that easily. No one's bottom, no one's top. Slark has night vision. Night Stalker has night vision. You have good wards. You'll see someone in a little bit. You just gotta wait. People don't wait. No one has patience in Dota. There's very little patience in Dota, and it costs people a lot of MMR. Now, in this clip here, things truly work out, and this ends up being one of the key moves of Hobo Harry and the boys throughout this match. And the main thing that comes about this is that they have this God Ward, and this God Ward, like, the enemy team is literally surrounded by wards. It's going to be super easy to get a clean jump and make the moves you need to, and also just not get caught off guard, right? Slark's a little bit insane for pouncing in there, but yeah, they chase forward. Once again, a little bit crazy from this guy, but he does have shard still. And this, right, this ward, all his vision, sets up for a very, very easy Fisher on the 2. Night Stalker's able to come in, pop his Blade Mail. They get a good Guardian Angel. Now Bane grips, but once again, they see literally everything, partially because of Night Stalker here, right? So kind of a benefit of taking fights in the night with Night Stalker. Believe it or not, that's a good thing. And yeah, they hit a huge Echo. He goes in, chops down the Omni Knight, and I like that he has a BKB here. I think a lot of bounty hunters will just not go BKB because they're gonna hyper snowball or something. They think they're gonna get like a bajillion gold from track and just go satanic Sanjin Yasha and then heart. Or they'll just be like, I'm bounty hunter, I'm buying a heart. But yeah, I don't think you should do that. I think in a game like this, where the enemy team is almost only magical, right, at this point of the game, especially because they have Muerta, right, you should go this route as he gets a solo kill, really nice. And yeah, from there, he's going to go into a Manta style, which I don't mind. I think it's pretty good against Earth Spirit, Dispel the Vessel. It gives you movement speed, which synergizes well with the track movement speed, because you can run it like haste in team fights, and you need to be able to close the gap. So the Dispel is really good. It dispels dust as well, which is kind of nice. And some games he buys Shard, like often. He doesn't do it this game, which is kind of weird. But basically, it applies Shadow Walk and all of his bonuses to the allies. The fate time is 1 second on teammates, and it doesn't break it on Bounty Hunter. To be honest, I think he should rarely buy it. I think turning your teammates invis it's not bad, but I honestly think it's a bit of a meme. It is a separate ability, and that's what's good. It doesn't mean that you have to like use your Shadow Walk that you need to go invis on a teammate, right? It's separate. Which does make it seem okay. Because honestly, yeah, you can chain stun. I guess they get a stun out of hit too. I can see it, yeah, you can have 2 stuns, it's kind of cool. And at this point of the game, it's just kind of bounty hunter galore, and I like his build. I think the remainder of his build is good too. I'll kind of show it off real quick. I'll also talk about his talents right now. But he goes a late basher, which I think is all right. Sometimes I would prefer a nullifier here. I guess this guy bought it, so, you know, maybe you can be like, okay, I don't need it. But when you're against Omni Knight, it's just kind of nice to have this nullifier item, right? Something like Basher, when you already have Orchid, and he had a Corrosion, I guess he sold that now. I don't know, I think Basher is somewhat of a meme on this hero. You already have a Basher really fast, but it's definitely not terrible. It's certainly not terrible. I sort of just prefer the idea of going something like a Bloodthorn, completing that, or going Nullifier, just like different items. I just think Basher's kind of a meme item on heroes with limited attack speed. But to be fair, this is one of the highest attack speed bounty hunters I've ever seen, so maybe that makes this much, much better. And then from there, he buys a Scotty, which frankly, I'm not a fan of much at all. I think this item is sort of a meme. It's not good against Muerta because you can't even hit her in her ulti. I feel like it's okay against the supports, but like I feel like you're gonna kill them with Basher or Orchid or with the E-stun anyway, so I don't really feel like you need Scotty. Perhaps it's supposed to just be a Swift Blink, because the hero has a hard time getting into the fights in the late game, because it has to literally run in, which is kind of trash. So I feel like the Scotty is either probably supposed to be a Swift Blink, or if you want to be a frontliner, Satanic or Hard. I just think that Scotty, except for in very specific games where they're very heal-oriented, is not good. And you might be like, oh, but it's Omni Knight heal. Yeah, but his heal is not that significant. Brain Sap's not significant. Witch Doctor heal is only semi-significant, so I don't know. I don't think it's very, very good, to be blunt. From there, in terms of talents, you take Janata damage 10, of course. 30% damage taken in Shadow Walk is one of the best talents in Dota. Basically, when you're in your E, you take 30% less damage. You are Spectre, right? Literally, you are 10% more tankier than a Spectre. And then level 20, you take the Janata Gold Steel. I think the Track Grant's Shared Vision honestly might be better in a lot of games. Shared Vision is nuts, guys, because if you track someone, you just see everyone around them, which is like pretty nuts. It's pretty damn nuts. I'm a little on the fence. Stealing an extra 50 gold is pretty insane. If you're going Ags, it's a no-brainer. And then at level 25, I think you take Shuriken Toss charges. At this point in the game, you're probably 6-slotted anyway. I don't really feel like you need track gold. You're also not getting that many kills that late into the game. And so yeah, Shuriken Toss charges just to slow people and do a bit of extra damage, especially considering the Shurikens do an extra 200% damage. Pretty freaking good. And honestly, at this point in the game, he truly does chunk. Like, it's actually quite impressive how much damage he does. As you'll see, the Earth Spear rolls in here. Look at this, look at this. It's kind of nuts. The Earth Spear rolls in, tracks him up. Boom! Oh my god. The attack speed with the Basher, I will say, because of the fact that he has high attack speed, it makes his Basher look pretty good. Because usually when I see bounty hunters, they'll like queue up Abyssal with 0 attack speed items. They'll have like some Deso. And I'm like, you can't even really use this Basher. Like, you're just praying to God you get lucky and bash them, you know? I don't know, low attack speed with Basher is just so sus in Dota, and people do it all the time. And finally, to end off the video, one thing that I do think makes 7k players is the fact that they're very good at kiting out. I think here he understands that I don't have BKB. I need to be a little bit careful. Even though he's full HP, right? You can kind of just get chipped down. He gets hit by a Maledict here, and this ability is devastating if you overcommit, right? It will kill you. And so he kites out, kind of waits for the Omni Knight to get out of position. His Orchid comes up, gets the kill on him, waits for a track, understands that running through a Muerta W is not exactly the best idea and is very difficult. But when that ends, he's going to run in, and it's just good. It's good understanding of spells. It's good understanding of the lack of BKB, the understanding of power of Maledict. And so yeah, very well played. But alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the gameleap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.